Are you really making the most of your backswing? Could you make a bigger coil? Can you generate some more speed? Today, I'm going to share with you a real simple tip to make sure you're creating as big a coil as you can, generating as much speed as you can. Make sure you check out this video. So what we're talking about here is maximising your backswing's potential. And that's what I was demonstrating with that drill, was trying to make a bigger coil movement in my golf swing. I see so many people where they're really only getting their shoulders in lessons rotating to around 70, 75 at maybe 80 degrees. Everybody is capable of making that 90. They may need different amounts of hip turn, but everybody is able to do that. And I love this exercise. So what I did there at the start was hold the club with my lead hand, with my trail hand, just put it so it goes around the back of my arm, and so that my palm of my trail hand will actually be pointing towards the target. Now this is actually very good for that takeaway movement as well, because I want you to try and feel like your trail palm stays facing at the target a little longer. So this is great for anyone who's whipping the club here on the inside, overusing those forearms. So we want to feel like there's a little bit of a straighter move to help keep the club a little bit more outside my hands in that first movement here. So the palm is pointing towards the target and there is a stretch here of my arms. Now, as this is happening, I'm feeling like it is my torso, my shoulders. It's not my whole body in terms of the width. I'm feeling like it's wide with my arms here, okay? Now, keep pushing with that trail hand, almost pushing your elbow away to really help you feel that big coil up in my backswing. So you can clearly see here, I'm creating at least 90, maybe beyond 90 degrees of shoulder turn. So it's really going to help push that lead shoulder a little bit further. Now, if you're lacking in some flexibility, some mobility, to achieve that, you may have to allow that right hip, your trail hip, to turn a little bit more. So I want that trail hip moving a little bit more up and behind you, and that's absolutely fine. Don't be too precious about trying to keep flex in that knee. So many golfers, when they're trying to keep flex in this trail knee, are restricting their backswing and they can only really get to around halfway back. Allow that hip to move up and behind you as you make this big stretch. And now you can start to see perhaps a little bit of daylight between my knees, and that is absolutely fine. If you're Mr. Mobile, Mrs. Mobile, very flexible, then you could potentially maintain more knee flex there and still create that big movement, but it will depend on the individual. So big coil movement here, pushing my arm away, allowing that hip to move up and behind me. And you can see I'm creating this big coil, and that's that sensation I really want to get. Now you'll note that that doesn't mean my club's gone beyond parallel. I'm actually making a big body movement rather than using my hands and arms. Those who tend to underuse their body, I often see the completion with the hands and arms. They're not using their body well enough, and then the hands and arms take over to the top of the golf swing. We want it to be a big body coil, and that's what I was trying to get that sensation of there. So let's do a few of them. You should feel sort of out of breath doing this, really. So palm facing the target, pushing my arm away. Allow that hip to move up and behind me so I can really maximize my backswing length. Now, again, if you're lacking a bit of mobility or looking for a bigger backswing, even allowing that lead heel to lift a little bit in the backswing is absolutely fine. It can work in your favor. Allowing that to lift gives you something to replant on the downswing. And again, that's going to really help you maximize your speed because we're starting to shift some pressure. So we lift the heel, slam the heel down. That's absolutely fine. Now, when that heel is lifting, I don't necessarily want to see a real extension of my body where I'm gaining tons of height. But I can lift that heel and still maintain my levels, allowing that right hip to turn up and behind me. That movement there rather than this movement with my body in terms of upward. So I think it's a good idea then in training to do some where you freeze at the top of the golf swing. So try and get that big pull on your body. See if you can get that sensation, oh, I'm really coiling, and then go ahead and fire. It might not be your longest, but let's give it a go. So nice and slow, control backswing, pause at the top, big coil. And then hit. And I caught that a little heavy, so it's going to be a bit short. It was down my target line, but a bit on the heavy side. But I really felt that strain, that pull up my lead side here, trying to make that big coiled backswing. Let's get to that 90 degree or beyond. Let's not sit around this 70 degrees and wonder why we're not hitting the ball very far. People who say that distance isn't important are lying. So, big coil back. I'm going to do one more of those freezers. Now, I didn't freeze as long, but I had a little stop there. You could even do, and I'm pinching this from, oh, his name's gone from my head. It will come to me. Victor Hovland, where he does that double pump backswing. If you've seen him before, I don't know if he's done it for a little while, but he used to, when he wanted an extra 10, 15 yards off the tee, he would actually do that double pump. So he'd get to here, and then he would make a bigger backswing. So he'd make one backswing, and then he'd go and hit. And that could help you. So let's try and make that big coil again. As long as it's not hands and arms, as long as it's the body movement. Let's try Victor Hovland here. So make the backswing, double pump, and hit. Now, I don't think I made it look quite as stylish as Victor there, but you can see how I'm starting to train to feel like I can create that bigger stretch in my backswing, maximise my coil. Obviously, it's something to do on the driving range before you take to the golf course. Let's try and finish with one normal one that I could game on the golf course. But again, I'm just going to sense that I'm making that big coil in my backswing, my practice swing, and then go ahead and hopefully hit one. Well, that felt solid. That felt solid. That felt very... Oh, it's a little left to target, even though it felt good. But felt like I could take that to the golf course there. Trying to maximise what I'm doing. I'm not the longest out there by any means, but I'm trying to maximise what I've got. So, you know, if you can then work on mobility, flexibility, fantastic. We're going to gain even more. But let's look at maximising what you've currently got. I get so many golfers where they're, as I said, only getting around that 70, and I know they can get to 90. I know they can make a bigger backswing there. And again, that backswing length is not the hands and arms, it's that big, powerful coil movement with the body that we're really looking for. If that video and drills have helped, make sure you hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Right now, YouTube is suggesting the next video of mine that's relevant for you. It's just here, so click on it and check it out.